guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be checking out the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Cosmic Skeletor. Yes, this is one that I was incredibly excited about when it first went up for pre-order. I was shocked, but also excited that Mattel decided to make this as an action figure. Sorry about it, but this is a spoiler for the latest season of the series, the CGI Netflix animated series, but it is definitely a fun-looking toy. This is a very toyetic design, if I do say so myself. As you can see, this is a large figure. I mean, look at it. He comes in this huge open box here, which has got a try-me thing, so you can actually play with the action feature in the box. So you got the little window cut out there so you can see his action feature. And of course the back also just shows you how the action feature works. You can see this big old Skeletor standing next to one of the basic figures in the line. So let's do one better. Let's go ahead and get him pulled out of this box tray here, and we'll get a closer look at the action figure. Okay, first things first, we do have some minor assembly outside of the packaging here because we have to attach 2 wings and a tail on this guy. Now, this is definitely designed in a way where it doesn't look like you have to remove this tail once it's on. It's one of those kind of pegs. So you can see, should line up perfectly. You've got the square with the little peg at the bottom there, so you just kind of match that up. Press that firmly in place. Oh, it does look like it pops back out. So I guess if you need it to, that's good. You can remove that, but also it stays firm and it's articulated, which is really nice. And then we've got the wings here as well. So it looks like you're just going to pop those right in the back there. There we go. Kind of line those up. Get the other wing in place here. Oh my. Some tough pegs. There we go. And then those wings articulate as well to help finalize the look of our new Skeletor. All right, we've got Cosmic Skeletor all assembled. So if I bring in the tape measure here, you can see he stands 9 inches tall. His wingspan there is, man, it's pushing 15 inches. When you've got his wings all the way out. So he's a big, chunky action figure. If I bring in the standard 5.5-inch Skeletor from this line and stand them side by side, you can see that he is a pretty large action figure. So really, really fun design. One thing I will say about him, I was really surprised by how lightweight he is. He's definitely made of that hollowed out plastic. In fact, if you look underneath his feet, you can see that his feet are all hollowed out. The legs feel very hollow here, as do the arms up here at the top. So he is very lightweight. I just kind of expected him to have a little bit more weight to him, being such a large scale figure. Now, he doesn't feel like he's fragile or is going to break or anything. He definitely still feels sturdy enough for kids to be bashing around, and maybe that's why he's so light, is because they did have kids in mind. Also cost saving measures, of course. But yeah, it was just something that kind of caught me off guard. So this guy has got a really great look to him. You know, this line has had a lot of areas where there's minimal paint deco, and even with that going on here, I still think he looks really nice. I love the way that he kind of fades into this gold color, especially on his hands, where his hands are molded in this sort of pearlized gold plastic. I think that looks really cool. And then we've got that airbrushed kind of on his knees there as well. We've got this split color thing going on where he's like half yellow and then half green, which is supposed to be like the power of Grayskull, and the power of Havoc kind of coursing through him. So this did come from the series, and again, it's a bit of a spoiler if you haven't already seen it, but essentially what we have here is Skeletor with the full power of Grayskull. And that is one thing that I find pretty interesting, is that we now have like 3 different versions of what Skeletor might look like if he gets the power of Grayskull. But I think that's kind of fun that we're exploring these in different forms of media here. So one of the things that's really cool on this guy is on his back, just like in the show, you can see up here, very tiny, you've got the Havoc staff and the Sword of Power sticking out of his back. Now, this show sort of treated the Havoc staff and the Sword of Power like the 2 halves of the Power Sword, so having both of them together is what granted him all of this power and why he looks the way he does. Now, those being small like that shows you just how big he actually was in the show. Like, those are supposed to be people-sized sword and Havoc staff there. He was massive. So obviously he's not 100% to scale, but at least he is still a big toy. So that's what's with the colors there. I really like that. The shape of the head is really cool because it's like a skull, has a little bit of the Havoc staff horn thing going on. One thing I will say is that the mouth, the jaw is not articulated. I kind of feel like the mouth should open and close. It at least looks like it should, but it does not. And these wings are really cool because they're translucent purple with glitter inside. And the reason for that is because in the show, the wings had this very cool star field effect to them, where like they looked like space, like outer space. And the stars were constantly moving in his wings. It was a very cool effect. And I think Mattel did a pretty good job of capturing that here. Maybe could be a little prettier. A lot of the translucents in this line weren't super clear for some reason. They're very foggy like this. If this was like a real crystal clear purple with glitter in it, it definitely would have looked a lot better. But this is probably fine for what it is, and maybe they were worried about sturdiness. I'm not entirely sure. So let's talk about the articulation on this guy, because it is worth noting that he does have an action feature, which is triggered by those little sword and Havoc staff on his back. But even still, that head is ball jointed, so it kind of rolls around. The shape of his hunched back obviously is going to limit that movement a little bit. But the arms can go outwards, they can move forwards and backwards. That is where the action feature lies, so you can see that the arms won't stay up like this. However, because of the way the arms can go outwards, you can still do that. You can still swivel at the elbow and bend at the elbow and swivel at the wrists there. So the action feature is triggered by using the sword and the Havoc staff like levers, and it makes them independently raise each of those arms or both arms together. Roar, roar. So that works well, but it's also kind of cool how he's still articulated on top of that. So it doesn't hinder the articulation too much. You could swivel him at the waist. The legs have those ball and socket joints there. You'll notice they're a little loose at the hips because I keep like, this one especially keeps falling outwards, but at least it seems like they're doing a good job holding the figure up. And then you can swivel at the feet there, and then the tail itself also swivels. And then those wings are articulated. Now, the wings are interesting because for some reason, the wing on this side moves a lot better than the wing on the left, where the ratchet joint is very tight. It makes me wonder if they're both supposed to have that ratchet joint, but for some reason, this one's not quite as tight of a joint. I'm not sure why that is, or if that's like that on everybody's, but the wings are also got hinge joints there, so they can also kind of do the flapping motion as well. So some pretty good articulation all around on this guy. Even though he's got that action feature, you can see those hips. They're a little loose there, but I still think he's sturdy enough. He stands good on his own, and it's pretty fun pairing him up with the other figures in this line. And that's basically it. There's no accessories or anything like that with him. He's just a big, cool looking toy, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with him. I'm really glad we got this guy. Honestly, I didn't think that's the design that we would see translated into action figure form, and I think he makes for a pretty darn fun action figure. This one retails around the $30 price point. I found mine in stock over on Amazon, but they've also been up for pre-order at places like Walmart, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, should be hitting retail stores as well. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.